Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Can I Beat the Pole Lap. This is the Canadian Grand Prix edition and we're here to try and beat yet again Mr. Max Verstappen's pole lap of a 1 minute 25.8. Now then, if you're a regular viewer and watcher of the channel and this series, you'll know in these situations when we have wet qualifyings, I basically try to beat the best dry lap of the weekend, which we saw in practice yesterday. However, I finally managed to get the wet weather to work in Assetto Corsa after putting it off for a long time, and today we're going to put it to the test and see if we can hopefully get it to work the way I want to. So I've done a bit of testing, and because of that testing I am quite familiar with how the car feels on the track, but hopefully the lap times should be more or less accurate. So we're going to give it a go and see what happens. Right now tyres are stone cold, so we're trying to just get the confidence up. The lap time to beat is a 125.8, and I think we should be in and around that ballpark. We're on the inters and we're in a completely default setup. The only big thing we can do here is pretty much dump the fuel and maybe put a bit more front wing on, because realistically the cars are locked into parc fermé with a drier weather setup, as that is going to be the condition for the race. So everyone will be driving on basically a dry setup in these conditions. So yeah, let's give it a go and let's do our first lap in anger. It also would not surprise me if we did beat the Verstappen pole lap on our first try, but let's give it a shot and let's see what happens. So turn 1, trying to find where the grip levels are at the moment. We tend to struggle in the low speed quite a lot. That's the key struggling point. Power down those super easy. Rear's traction up beautifully, although we clip the grass a little bit there. That compromises our line through the chicane. Bit of a lift through there, but I could probably take that flat, I reckon. Second gear as we feed the car through this next chicane. I believe that's 6 and 7. Now down the back straight as we head into 7 and 8. No shadow to kind of break as a reference, but we'll try to make it, and we bang over the curbs. Down to the hairpin now. Whether we break here, that's the big question. 100 meter board. Now the first gear to try and give myself a bit of rotation. Short shift the second. Throttle goes down beautifully, especially in a straight line. And now we take a breather down the back straight as we prepare the final chicane and the wall of champions. 100 meter board here. On the brakes, beautiful. No lock up. And up to the line. 25.8 to beat. Could already be beaten. Yes it is. 25.3. Right then, I guess we'll keep going and we'll see how much we can improve by. We'll do a few laps here. And we're fueled for a bit, so we'll just try and lower the lap time, get more confidence, and we will see just how fast we can really go. Might try and dig out the fastest lap on inters of the weekend if I can. So end of lap 2, we're up by about a second. Make that 1.5 seconds, so this is going to lower the benchmark substantially. That's now 23.8. So we're getting faster and faster, still on a default setup, and still running relatively conservative engine modes. We'll probably dip into the 19s I reckon once it's all said and done. Looks like we're going to shave off another second on this next lap as we approach the chicane one more time. I think after this we'll go back to the garage and make some adjustments to try and find some more time. So it's going to be 9/10 of an improvement, so we'll just dip into the 22s. Right, let's see how fast we can really go and try to reduce the fuel a bit. We'll leave fuel in for a couple of laps so we can basically replicate the rule life fuel load, where drivers will obviously be going for multiple laps. They're not going to be on fumes, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Now then, for the sake of the video, I've had a little browse and also reviewed qualifying. The best lap in Q1 was a 120.8. The best lap in Q2 on the intermediate was a 119.7 from Fernando Alonso. So we now have our new target. Now then, for this next phase, we're going to basically keep the car set up the same. All I've done is move the brake bar slightly towards the rear. I'm actually happy with how the car feels in terms of setup. All we've done is reduce fuel to basically 5 of 4.5 timed laps, give or take. So we'll get a few runs. I'm also going to increase the engine mode here. and now we're going to see exactly what kind of pace we can really do. So it may not be the best first lap, we may need a little kind of second warm-up lap just to get the tyres fully in, but this will now be a much more accurate attempt at our true pace. So we're 2 seconds off the best Q1 lap from Verstappen, 2.1 to be exact, and just over 3 seconds off for Alonso going Q2. Car feels way more nimble already. We're flat through that right-hander there as we now head into the chicane. Already a second up. Lost a bit of time though through there, to be fair, in that chicane. We're still cooking. This is looking pretty decent. The chicane catches me out. The muscle memory from F1, the F1 game is more like it's just there, so I keep trying to push the car in later when the apex is a lot sooner. Into the hairpin though. A little bit deep, that's okay. We'll pull it back for a bit of a late apex and a better exit. A bit of oversteer as we short shift our way out of there. And this is when the engine mode is going to really kick in and make a big difference. We're just finding time all along this straight, down to the front of chicane. Try not to hit too much of the curb, otherwise it unsettles the car. Up to the line, it's going to be an improvement, and it's going to be nearly 2 seconds, 20.9. So we've beaten the first target, or we're just behind the first target more like, a tenth away, 20.8 from Q1. Already 2 tenths up on this lap, so we're finding time, but we clip the grass and do a Sebastian Vettel. Well then, let's try that again. So we will crank up the engine mode and we will try to improve. Even though tires are stone cold in the bottom left, we've got, I'll say, at least a bit of temperature now built up, so we can start to push it a bit. I can feel it in the low speed, that's where the car feels a lot better. Short shift to third, nicely done. Stay off the grass this time. Try to get the inside curbs if we can. Oh yeah, we're flying. This was a great first sector. 3/4 of a tenth up. Now into chicane. Back end getting very light through there. In the low speed, the car does not like it, but we found a bit more time. This could potentially be on the money here. Oh, what save. Just about caught it. Avoided a spin, but ruined the lap. Was on course there to potentially beat the lap there, to be fair. We will try one more time as I'm a bit low on fuel now, so this next one might be my best attempt. Right, let's try again. Keep the car nice and settled. Clip the inside curb a little bit. Hasn't been as good as the last time. Haven't gained as much time. Trying to be a bit more smooth and a bit less erratic with the driving. But we're only up by a whisker in the first sector. Oh, back in there, snapping away. 10th up, but we know we can do better than that. A little bit deep there again, that braking point keeps catching me out, man. Sliding all over the place. We'll keep it under control this time, but we're pretty much just matching our previous lap. We'll keep it a lot tighter in the hairpin. That was a better hairpin, to be fair. Found a bit of time there. But we're only up by a quarter of a second, which isn't exactly what I hoped for. This will probably be the Q1 lap time, but it's not going to challenge Alonso's Q2 lap. Great final chicane though, to be fair. That was a nice bit of time gain. And it's going to be a 20.4. Right. Next lap you see will be my best attempt. I want to try and see if I can put a lap together. We'll maybe just reduce the fuel by a touch to try and go for 2 or 3 time laps at a push and see what we can do. my god, I'm out of fuel. I thought I had enough. I was up by nearly a second. Done. What a lap. 18.9. Finally, man, I put it all together. Struggled to get the whole lap hooked up and nice and clean, but that was pretty much all my sectors hooked up clean, and that is what we got. 118.9, which, to be fair, is not terribly unrealistic considering Alonso done a 19.7 in an Aston Martin. Had Verstappen tried it on the Inter in Q2, could have been maybe a bit quicker. Anyway, you're going to ask me probably what the settings are, so just to kind of confirm, I'm running the intermediate tyre, and then 5 litres of fuel, which gives me 4 timed laps. It's, well, 3 timed laps plus an out lap basically, and then also electronics for that lap was on push. Not full power because I felt like I actually wasn't happy with the back end, the traction balance. I actually preferred running battery and push, a bit more rear traction control. Aero was default, I was happy with the balance to be fair, and also keeping it kind of in line with Parc Fermé, which is a dry weather setup for the race. And then pretty much the rest is completely default except for brake bias, which I had on 58, which default was 59, but that was pretty much it. So yeah, good fun. But there we go guys, that is it for today's edition of Can I Beat the Pole Lap at Canada. This of course a wet edition as we test out the rain for the first time in this series, and to be fair I think I did a pretty good job and not too shabby for our first time trying to get the settings right. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel as I'm trying to reach 100k mark guys by the end of the year. As always, a big shout out to the channel members for supporting. Check out the links to the mods used in this video down below, and as always check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. But guys, cheers for watching, hopefully we get a fun race, and I'll see you in the next one.